Hey guys, Jack from Lifeman Insurance here. And today we're going to talk about a topic that kind of scares a lot of people. People get scared about it. They have some fear associated with it. And it's basically the 5 ways that you can get approved despite any health issues you might have. Maybe it's cancer, maybe it's a heart attack, maybe it's a stroke, maybe it's high blood pressure, diabetes, or cholesterol. I don't know what health issues it is that you have, but a lot of the time people think that they can't get approved, and it's simply out of fear that you don't even try, you don't even apply. And I'm here to give you some hope. I've seen some of the worst cases of health, some of the people who've had health issues in the past from cancer and heart attack get approved. So there is hope. You just have to know the 5 ways to go about getting approved, okay? So not everybody can get approved, but statistically there is a good shot that you can. So let's just jump right into it. So the first way is you want to work with a high-risk life insurance specialist. You want to work with somebody who knows underwriting practices, who has the experience in dealing with all these high-risk situations and health issues, and can kind of guide you in the right direction. Now, I don't know if you found a candidate, a broker right now who has those credentials, but I can tell you mine. I've been doing this for 9 years, and truth be told, at the beginning, I was given these hard cases because nobody else wanted to work them. And so I got really good at working them, and I developed kind of a niche market thing where I could work with people and know right off the bat if we could get them approved or not, or what their chances were in getting approved. So if you want to work with me, that's great, but if you're looking for a candidate, I would look at steps 2, 3, 4, and 5 and make sure those insurance brokers are doing this for you. And if not, you can always take those steps that I'm going to give you in 2, 3, 4, and 5 and use them to your advantage, doing the work for your broker essentially. All right, so step number 1 is work with a high-risk life insurance specialist. Okay. Step number 2, it all starts with questions. So you have to make sure that that broker is asking you the right questions. Are they asking you questions like, what is your height, what is your weight, what kind of medications are you on, what are the dosages of those medications, when did you first start those medications, when were you first diagnosed, how long were you in the hospital for, when were you in the hospital. All these different questions, getting as much information as possible, those questions will lead to number 3. Okay, so step number 3 is a general inquiry. And what a general inquiry is, it's basically a fancy way of saying an anonymous inquiry. And because I'm a broker, I can send that information, all those questions you answered, to pretty much 15 different companies across Canada. And we'll get a lot of feedback from those companies. And because they don't have your name or number, you don't have to worry about getting declined. We're just going to get an idea of whether you'll have a shot of getting approved or not. And when I go through all those, basically what that's going to do is it's going to tell me whether we can get you approved or not and what kind of strategy I'll need to set up. Okay, so the other thing I like to do, which is just an add-on, is I always like to put a call in to a senior underwriter. I like to call that underwriter and I like to ask them if if you might get, if you have a chance of getting approved based on all the questions that you answered. And usually they'll give me a fair, good indication of whether we have a good shot or not. Now remember, there's always stuff that can come up along the way. When you do your medicals, if your medicals are different than what you're telling me, if there's a change in your health, that's going to show, so that could play a factor. But generally speaking, I'll have a good idea whether we can get you approved or not. Which brings us to step number 4, is create a strategy. So if, let's say, out of those 15 companies, 10 companies come back at me and tell me you're going to be declined, and 5 companies say to put the application in and we'll have a shot, I would probably recommend that you do a non-medical insurance first, just to make sure you have something in place in case you get declined. I can go into that in further detail. That's not what the video is about. That's just one part of the strategy. Another strategy would be to, depending on how many companies said yes, we would then move on to step 5, which is I would always do multiple applications if there was a serious health issue. So what I mean by that is I would apply to 3 companies, maybe 2 simultaneously, and I would see what companies come back at us and with what. Why I say this is I speak from experience. I've had people in the past who have applied doing the same method we're using now to 3 different companies, And all three companies, because the underwriters are human, have come back to us with three different answers, even though they were given all the same information. One company came back with a standard rating, one company came back with a decline, and one company came back with a rated offer, which means it's a higher offer than the standard because of the health issues.